The last thing you heard was a desperate call from nowhere. A voice, broken, desperate, lost.
Становится жарко. Слишком жарко. Я уже... Пожалуйста. Боже, помоги.
Then, silence. Never heard again. Never seen again. No name, no records, as if this person had never existed. The USSR declared that Yuri Gagarin was the first man in space. But was he really the first? Or just the first to come back? The world held its breath. On April 12, 1961, something happened that changed humanity forever. The Soviet Union had done it. A human had traveled into space and returned alive. His name, Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin. A simple man from a small town who became the hero of an entire nation. He took off into the sky in the Vostok 1 space capsule, flew around the Earth in just 108 minutes, and landed safely again. But if the Soviets were able to send a man into space as early as 1961, why were there no failed attempts before then? Space travel was unimaginably dangerous back then. Failed rocket launches, deadly miscalculations, and yet, does Gagarin seem to have been the first and only one? No tests with humans before him? No tragic accidents? Or were these accidents simply hidden? There is a theory that has never been completely refuted. It says that Yuri Gagarin was not the first man in space, but only the first person to return. Soviet space history is full of secrets. Photos of cosmonauts who still existed one day, and then suddenly disappeared from the records. But that's not all, because something strange happened in the 1960s. Two Italian brothers, Achille and Giovanni Giudica Cordiglia, had a private listening station in Turin. They intercepted signals from space, but what they heard made their blood run cold. A faint, almost destroyed voice, out of nowhere. The voice sounded Russian. He mumbled numbers, coordinates, then a pause, and then came the words that still disturb many people today.
Становится жарко. Слишком жарко. Я уже... Пожалуйста. Боже, помоги.
Then, nothing more. Silence. No name, no record. As if this person had never existed. Was that a joke, a technical error, or the last sign of life of a lost cosmonaut whose name was never officially allowed to exist? But how much truth is there behind these claims? Was this really a lost cosmonaut, or just a misinterpretation of a radio noise? The recording you've just heard was probably made in 1961 by two Italian brothers, Achille and Giovanni Giudica Cordiglia, using a homemade radio station. But there is a problem. There is no scientific evidence that this recording is genuine. Neither NASA nor the Soviet Union have ever confirmed a source for the signal. Critics claim that the brothers may have just accidentally received a distorted signal. Or worse, that they manipulated the recording to become famous. In fact, there was a real competition between amateur radio operators at the time. Whoever was the first to receive a signal from space was celebrated in the press. Were the brothers simply skilled media professionals? But then there are details that are not so easy to explain. Why are there official documents about Soviet cosmonauts that were suddenly deleted from reports? One name comes up again and again, Vladimir Ilyushin. Ilyushin is said to have been sent into space in 1960, but his mission supposedly ended in disaster. Some claim that he crashed and survived seriously injured, only to be erased from history forever. So, what is the truth? Was the signal just a mistake? A lie? Or were there really Soviet cosmonauts who lost their lives in the darkness of space? Yuri Gagarin is officially regarded as the first man in space, a hero, a pioneer. But was he really the first? The USSR was known for not admitting mistakes. So why would it admit that people died in space before Gagarin returned safely? The radio recordings from the 1960s could have been a mistake, or one of the most disturbing truths in space history. Why were some cosmonauts suddenly removed from the history books? Why are there no reports of failed space missions before 1961? And if the lost cosmonauts really existed, who were they? Maybe they are still out there. Maybe. We'll hear them again sometime. What do you think? Was it just a conspiracy? Or were there really people who were the first to travel into space and never returned? Write it in the comments. If you want to hear more eerie stories like this, subscribe to the Midnight Cabinet and stay alert. Some truths are darker than we think.